If you love recording yourself singing piano covers, this video is for you. A little bit of a sharing. Basically, I recorded a ton of piano covers before I got into the industry. And actually, it's because of my piano covers that I got discovered. So today, we're going to learn how to mix vocal and piano covers. You might think that, oh, it's just two instruments. Must be very easy. You're wrong, because it's so hard. You know why? Because there are only two instruments. Can't rely on anything else. You have to really make the vocal and the piano right. Today, we're going to break down one of my own original songs. It's called Don't Want Love If It's Not You by me. Without further ado, let's break it down.
If it's not you, I'll be spending this Christmas alone. And I thought that this is how I've grown. Better off on my own.
So there are 4 key points that I really want to go through. The first one is level balance. I can't even stress how important it is to balance the level right before you do any mixing. Interestingly, with pop songs where there are drum, bass, vocals, and everything else, you tend to want the vocal to sit and gel into the mix really well. But actually, for vocal and piano songs, it is actually okay for the vocal to be slightly louder than the piano. There's actually a few really good references that I would go and have a listen. These are the references. And in these tracks, you'll find that the vocal is really loud, almost like a bit detached from the piano. That's actually the kind of level balance that I went for in this track. It really makes the vocals stand out and almost like, you know, this person is singing right in front of you.
In a world full of billions, out of the millions.
Really dynamic because I just wanted to keep the rawness of the track. So it is important to have the vocal a bit louder than usual. And level balance is not just about faders. I also want to talk about the amount of compression. Just a side note here, I recorded this song in 2022. It's a whopping 4 years ago. I have to say, I could have sang better. I was just a young thing 4 years ago, even though I'm still young. The first ever compression I've done on this vocal is not on the track, but a parallel compression. Here I've used a LA2A gray. I remember choosing this because I felt like I wanted my voice to feel more forward. But if I start using things like 1176 Rev A, like the bluey, it'll be way too upfront and way too pop because this is a octo compressor. It still has this creaminess. I don't even know if that's a good word. A creaminess to it, and so like it's a really good way to make a track very silky smooth, but not too bright and not too warm. So for this de-esser with the parallel comp, it can sound very harsh. It's almost like you can just hear the S. So we must control the parallel comp's S.
If it's not you, I'll be spending this Christmas alone. If it's not you.
I shaped it. Wow, like what is going on? Yeah, I know. Because there was not much mid frequencies. It's so drowned by the piano. So I even shaped the parallel comp in this way to make myself more forward. Yeah, so that's literally the first stage of compression. The second stage is on the bus. So the bus would be the vocal track plus the parallel comp. I chose a black phase 1176 because black phase is quite big.
If it's not you, I'll be spending this Christmas alone.
Wow, so little. And I think this is also important because with just 2 instruments, the vocal is actually allowed to be so dynamic and you really get to keep a lot of the emotions. But the reason why the compressor is still here is to just control a little bit more so that it won't jump out way too much. The last stage of compressor, this Vox, I just personally really like it on vocals. I've used it for so many years, so it generates a nice upfront tone.
If it's not you, I'll be spending this Christmas alone.
As you can see, with just EQ and compression, we have transformed the song so much already. Because EQ and compression takes up 80% of a mix. If you want to go in depth and understand the concept behind these parameters, we have a free EQ and compression cheat sheet. It will help you nail the fundamentals and transform your mix. Click on the link down in the description box below. Our third key point, it is we can be creative with vocal effects. Especially for this one, this is a ballad song. It's very emotional, and because there's only 2 instruments, we're able to have a lot of space for reverb. And I just want to say, if I take away all the reverb, it would just sound really awkward.
Not you, I'll be spending this Christmas alone. And I thought that this is how I've grown. Not you, I'll be spending this Christmas alone. And I thought that this is how I've grown.
just with different effects on the vocal, I'm immediately able to transform myself into another space. It's like, wow, so big, so grand. Reverb is super important in a vocal piano song. I would have it a lot more than usual. Don't be afraid to go quite long on the reverb tail as well. This is like 3.8 seconds. But I have the pre-delay really long. And that is really important for me. I wanted the reverb to really detach from the vocal so that the vocal feels so intimate, but you also have the grandness. Not only I added reverb, I also added delay.
I'll be spending this Christmas alone.
That is also something that's like a scene change. Oh, it's chorus too. Like it feels a bit different. Like the tail seems to be longer. Like is it more and more emotional or what? Like, so I think that is also something that you can experiment with, and you can really be very creative with vocal effects. Last but not the least, mix bus. As you can see, there isn't a lot of plugins. There are only 5. When I approached this mix, what I wanted to do was to just keep the rawness. I wanted it to feel really dynamic. So I was really soft on the compression. I used this manly, very moose called. I love this plugin. It has a very expensive sound, but just look at how little I'm actually compressing.
I'll be spending this Christmas alone.
All I wanted to do is just to control a little bit more. I even have the mix knob on, which means it's a parallel compression. I'm still keeping the rawness of the mix. If I turn everything off, you might think that it just sounds pretty similar.
I'll be spending this Christmas alone. And I thought that this is how I've grown. I'll be spending this Christmas alone. And I thought that this is how I've grown.
And I think in general, for these type of songs, I wouldn't rely on the mix bus so much. I would create a goal. That's the sound I want to go for. And all your mixing steps are like really leading up to that goal. And in the master bus, you are literally just polishing slightly more. Allow the track to be as raw as you can, because that is the point of vocal and piano songs. That singer-songwriter vibe, the emotions, everything is almost like you want to convey it in the most simplest way, and so as your mix.
I'll be spending this Christmas alone. And I thought that this is how I've grown. Better off on my own than you appear. You're someone who's worth the wait. All the tears of my heart breaks. Endless years with you I pray.
That's it. Thank you so much for watching. If this video has helped you, please give us a like and share it with your friends who loves doing piano covers as well. And subscribe for more mixing content. We'll see you in the next one.